Welcome, Aryan, to the CCR podcast. We're very grateful to have you here today.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, no problem. Your new film Agent Underground is blowing up recently, so we wanted to ask you some questions about it because on this podcast we really like to dive deep.
All right,
So
yeah,
I want to ask you
sure.
some questions about the technological.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, what did you want to ask me?
So yeah, could you just explain to us like first I just want to know the different types of tools and technologies that helped you get through this project. Like what did you use for it? Because it looks quite good. So I want to know
All right,
what did you
okay.
use?
So I actually filmed the movie using just my phone, a Google Pixel 7 Pro,
Really?
and I used the built-in default mic because I found that the audio was pretty clear, and I found that it was much easier to record and store the footage on this. But I did then, however, use a USB-C data transfer cable to transfer the footage to my PC, and then I used Premiere Pro to edit it. I initially used CapCut, but that was a bit limiting, so then I switched to Premiere as the main editing thing. And yeah,
Yeah.
I simply just used it and
Yeah,
stored
that
all the
makes
footage
sense.
on my phone and just simply use my phone's mic. And same with the lighting. I didn't use any external
And
lighting, all natural lighting.
really, okay.
Yeah.
And throughout the process, did you tend to use like many tutorials or like did you tend to research a lot or did you just kind of wing it?
Okay, so during my research, I did use YouTube tutorials and I did research a lot. So I use YouTube tutorials to help learn how to edit better and create a better product. And I also learned it like I also use YouTube to help learn me how to make captions and how to add the captions and all. And I researched audiences and audience theory, etc. And I also researched filmmaking and
Ooh,
different
that's
techniques
smart.
and storytelling tools. And um I basically use the audience research to create the final product and in terms of like, make scenes of or compel them and what they would like. And yeah. And the filmmaking tools also help to, create a better story. Like I drew inspiration from Guy Ritchie, Christopher Nolan, and just mixed and matched a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you like obviously it's like a quite rigorous process like making a whole film. Did you use
Yes.
any shortcuts or like hacks to throughout this project like
I mean,
just
okay,
to
so I
speed up
did
the
use
process?
props from around my house instead of going to find them. So that made life much easier. And I also assembled the sets
Oh, so
myself.
you were kind of on the DIY side with it.
Yeah, sort of. And I kind of assembled the sets myself and stuff. I mean, I did obviously buy some stuff that was necessary, like clothing, but I did assemble the set. And, like, for example, I reused a garbage trash bag as the bag over my head for when I was kidnapped. And I used papers from around my house to make, like, the scattered papers around the messy workroom, etc. And I just sort of, like, did
Yeah,
a lot of
okay.
it myself. But I didn't use
So
any,
you
like,
just use stuff around the
tricks
house
or,
to
yeah,
speed
but
up
I
the
didn't use any, like,
process.
cuts or, like, any life hacks to skip anything.
Yeah, yeah, just to make your life easier, just stuff around the house.
Yeah.
That's smart. And you mentioned that you were using your iPhone camera. Did
Yeah.
you have like any evolution to like maybe an
No,
advanced camera like
no.
a
I mean,
DSLR?
I simply just use my phone camera. I mean, I did advance from editing on CapCut on my mobile to the PC, but aside from that, there were no real advancements in that sense. I stuck to my phone. It was
Yeah.
efficient.
And
The quality was good
you did
enough,
mention
and yeah.
that you
Sorry.
mentioned that you started on CapCut if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
What were like the technical like limitations you faced that made you change?
Just technical, or do you want to know about just problems as well that I faced?
I mean, yeah, what problems did you face throughout
Okay.
this project?
So
Like,
the first shoot was done at my grandmother's house, and in this shoot, there were many problems because I had no control over the environment and the set. So my grandmother's
that's
dog,
not
for
good,
example,
yeah.
kept running on set and disturbing the filming, and there were just lots of ups and downs. So the movie was not that good the first draft. But then when I switched over to my house and I had control of the environment, these problems were like resolved. And the same with editing. So on CapCut, I found I couldn't make the transitions look smooth, and I just felt like and it was just very limiting, and I couldn't add captions fluently because it wasn't letting me line it up accordingly. And these are the problems I was facing. So I just switched to Premiere, and again, these problems were resolved.
Okay, perfect. And here on the CCR podcast, we like to dive deep. We've seen the website, we've seen how you've uploaded it. So, what were like how what was your process in like uploading it to like your different audiences, like the
Okay,
whole
so
like
okay,
different
so
ways that you uploaded it?
all right,
Because I
so
saw there
if
was
this
the video and then you had the website.
yeah, yeah. So if this was a real film and not a project, I would actually conduct an additional survey because the first survey showed that everyone likes, like my target audience at least, likes watching film on online streaming services such as Netflix, HBO Max, etc. So I would release an additional survey to my target audience, and I would basically just ask them which service is most commonly used, and then I would approach that company and service and try and cut a deal with them to release my film through them. But in reality, for the project, I uploaded it to YouTube simply because it was very accessible for anyone within my target audience to see, and it was just easy to store and no hassle at all. Do you have anything else for me?
And I'm assuming that that works with your general audience as well, not just your target
Yes,
audience.
yes. YouTube, the whole world uses, especially my target audience, which
Yeah,
is
exactly.
roughly ages like 13 to 35. And it's just very commonly used and it's just accessible for everyone.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything else for
I
me?
think
Or
that's all we really wanted to know. Like, thank you for coming on the CCR
thank you for
podcast.
having me. Take care.